All right, artists, let's go ahead and grab our mountain landscapes that we made, as well as our Collagraph trees. Now we're going to work on cutting out our Collagraph trees that we made. Remember, we used one stencil and repeated it several times on our paper simply by rubbing our crayon across it. Now, depending on how many you have, you may decide that you don't want to put all of them on your paper. But I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to show you with my 3 big trees that I created how I'm going to cut along the edges created by the Collagraph and then place them on my paper. Remember that as you're cutting, rotating your paper as you cut, going nice and slow, is the key to being able to cut into those very tiny, maybe close areas. If you accidentally cut part of your tree, don't worry. You can always tape it or you can glue it, right, once you glue it onto your paper. Now let's just say when you made your collagraphs, maybe they came in a little bit light. You can see with mine here that when I did my collagraphs, I maybe didn't push down hard enough with my crayon. So here's an optional choice if you want them to be a little bit darker. You can always take your crayon and rub back over on top of your collagraph trees and just go ahead and make them a tiny bit darker, as you see that I'm going to be doing here. Now it's time to glue onto our paper. So we might want to go ahead first and arrange them, right? Arrange our composition on our paper before we glue, because you might decide that instead of having them on the sides and just in the middle, maybe you want to overlap your trees just like we overlapped our mountains, right? So once you've decided how you want to set up your trees, again, maybe having one overlap another, then you'll go ahead, take them, and whether you're using a glue stick or liquid glue, just make sure you only put a little bit of glue, we don't need too much, and you're going to go ahead and make sure your trees go down to that black line, right, the bottom of your paper. We don't want any trees just floating in the mountains. That'd be like an alien tree, and that's not what we're doing here. So you're going to go ahead and make sure you glue it down to the bottom. Fabulous! Now, maybe what you want to do, kind of like what I told you guys during last class, is you want to save some of your cardboard and you want to pull it out here so you can make an additional collagraph. In the next part of this video, I'm actually going to show you guys how you can create a bear, like a black bear, collagraph that maybe you want to add to be walking amongst your trees. Now this is going to be an optional part, so you do not have to do this. It's only if you would like to. Now I'm going to show you here how you can create a bear. So you can start by using shapes and lines. So start with 2 circles side by side. Then you're going to connect the circles at the top and at the bottom right in the middle. Okay, great. Now you're going to draw a circle that's going to overlap the front circle, okay, the one that's on the left. gonna be a little bit smaller. It's gonna be part of the head. You can add a little triangle for the ear on top, and then you can add an oval that goes diagonal down the side, right on the side of the circle of the head. Below, where you have the two big circles, you can add 4 small rectangles. Those are the feet. They are walking. You could also, if you'd like, add little ovals beneath every single rectangle to create a flat foot. Okay, great. So look how we used shapes and lines, right, to create our black bear. Now what you can do is the same process you did with the trees. Go ahead, cut it out, okay? And then you're gonna wanna put it underneath a piece of paper, take your crayon, and you're going to hold it in place as you rub and get it to come up on your Collagraph. Now, I'm gonna show you, if you don't hold it in place, you're gonna get a big black blob. But if you make sure you hold it in place and go nice and steady, you'll get your Collagraph print. So once you have maybe 1 or 2 or 3 little black bears you want to add, go ahead, cut them out, and then you can again decide where you want them to go on your paper, and then you'll glue them on. And fabulous! We are done with our Color Valley Mountains and our Collagraph trees and bears. Can't wait to see what yours look like, artists.